This is in my top 5. Easy.
The problem is, it's a perfect album.
It stinking scared me as a kid.
I don't know what the hell's actually going on because I'm not a big lyrics person.
He took it personal.
That was my diatribe.
Are you freaking kidding me?
This is where the scene is over.
There's no subtext to this. This is a blatant song.
This is just the ultimate FU song.
I have always loved that.
You feel it in your bones.
We have to be honest about that. Open up and say pod today, doing something a little fun, a little different. We are pitting side A, or side G, if you will, and side B, or side R, of Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction. Song for song, pound for pound, which side is the better side? Well, we're going to decide here today, and this is going to be the definitive, right? No one's going to be able to argue this. There's going to be no room in the comments for you. This is just take this as it is. There is no disputing this at all. You think they bought that?
I think so, man. I bought it.
Glad
I think
somebody
it's the
did.
definitive list.
Very convincing, very much. I have no doubt that people will say, well, these three said it, so it must be so.
They know everything. All right. Well, let's just get right into it. Obviously, Appetite for Destruction, one of the greatest debut albums of all time, if not the greatest. It's always up there in the debate, as it should be. And yet, like, the sides, this is one of those albums that one might argue is close to a perfect album. And yet, when put against each other, it's a little lopsided, isn't it?
Yeah, for me it is. And honestly, I thought it would be more of a competition to me. I mean, because I've never really thought about this. I've never really thought about side G and side R, or other than thinking it was killer that they did that instead of A and B back in the day. But for me, absent one song, it's the perfect side of an album. Absent one song that breaks my heart is not on side G, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
I'm very curious because we have not, as per usual, we have not discussed this beforehand. We're all coming in with our ideas. So let's just get into it. G side is Welcome to the Jungle. You may have heard this song, I don't know, in every stadium every week. Versus My Michelle. And I'll start with Carsen. Which is your choice, G or R? Welcome to the Jungle or My Michelle?
It's a very strong debate to be had. There's Welcome to the Jungle, the strongest song to ever kick off an album, ever. And then you have My Michelle. So Welcome to the Jungle is right out of, like, I don't think you know this about Hyde and I, Caton, but we will just be like on the phone or something, and I'll be like, what da 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 da, because just that opening, and it's like because somebody's playing Jungle somewhere, and I'm like, hey, you know what I heard when I was out walking? What da 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 da, and that's the point. It gets you. It's like you said about stadiums, arenas. It's a hype song. Other artists use it as a hype song, and it's like you could make an argument it's the greatest song on the album. So with all due respect to My Michelle, which, okay, though, let's look at My Michelle. Like, your daddy works in porno. The problem is that's a pretty strong lyric right there.
It's a strong one.
Yeah, it's strong.
Yeah, they're coming strong
like,
on that.
This is like that song could have a lot of credibility, but it's going up against Jungle, and Jungle always reigns supreme.
This will actually be more fun for me because I didn't understand the assignment. Clearly, I didn't realize we were necessarily going to pit song for song in sequential order from side G and side R.
It's a good way to do it.
I actually like that. Hey, I am prepared. I just didn't understand the assignment. Yeah, I mean, listen, I do love My Michelle. Like, I mean, I absolutely do love My Michelle, but clearly there's not a competition here. I mean, Welcome to the Jungle. Carsen's right, hands down, in my opinion. Not even just in the, hair metal, glam rock genre of any album, period, of all the genres that I like. I think it's the best album opener of all time. I truly do. And so it's not a competition, and I always think about, you know, I know we're not talking about live shows, but Carson, you brought it up when we were talking about Poison, about how so many of these songs you just, you almost go to, the live versions as opposed to the studio tracks. And Welcome to the Jungle is kind of one for me, because when I think about, the most powerful moment of any live concert I think I've ever been to, it's hands down Axel when he's saying, do you know where you are? I just think it's amazing. And again, just one of the all time greatest album openers for sure.
And to piggyback off the live, now, Jungle doesn't open the shows, but what happens when Slash is standing up there and it's almost like a noodle? He's just kind of noodle, and then the audience is like, wait, we know that. We know
Yep.
what that is. And that is, like you said, that is the moment. That is the moment the crowd has been waiting for. The collective mass of the
Oh,
people who are like, I'm just here to see Guns N' Roses, or the people who know every song backwards and forwards. It doesn't matter. That is just that beginning noodle. You're like, it's coming, man. It's coming.
yeah. Yeah, I feel like Jungle is one, there's other anthems from bands that we love that we've grown a bit weary of, right? We've talked about some of these. They're just become a victim of overplay, and it's no fault of the song. It's just, how it's just how it works. You kind of get tired of it over time. That is never, I've never even gone through a season where I have tired of this song, or where that intro, that guitar, where it doesn't almost give me chill bumps. I mean, for real, it's just, I guess it's a testament to just how powerful of a song it is, because obviously, if any song's been overplayed, it's Welcome to the Jungle, but I've never grown tired of this tune ever. So,
No, and isn't that interesting? Like you say, you like, oh, the victim of overplay, no fault of the song. And yet, if this one doesn't have that, and it is probably the most overplayed, maybe it is the fault of the song. Maybe as good as some of these songs
that's a good
are,
point.
they're not, there's something magical about this that for some reason the other ones, as great as they are and as amazing as they are, maybe they just don't have that little extra bit of pixie dust on them. Who knows? I too am choosing Jungle. This was a layup, but the thing about My Michelle, just to speak to it quickly, when you think of Guns N' Roses being dangerous and raw, it's what you said. Daddy works in porno. Mama, you loved her heroin. These are the lyrics that were more dangerous than the singles presented.
That's right.
Like it's one thing to even say, and we'll get to it, but I see you standing there, you think you're so cool. Look, that's great stuff, and we will talk about it. But there is something so they are telling someone's specific story. And when you realize that they are telling that story, unfiltered, that's danger. Because now, if you are in Axl Rose's / Guns N' Roses orbit, you may be a song, and that's something to be really afraid of. So, like, I choose Jungle, but when I think of the songs that makes Guns N' Roses dangerous as compared to other bands, something like My Michelle, nobody else was gonna start say at all that first verse. No other band was writing that. For as edgy as Motley Crue loved
Yeah.
to be, Motley Crue's not writing that. Like, I dare say Motley would be more artsy about it. And Axel came out and said, no, here's the story raw, or whoever wrote this, because I don't know off the top of my head. But that's impressive. And to throw Axel's vocal on it, which makes it believable, it makes you go, holy crap, like this is cutting like a knife here. It's
Yeah.
just, so I'd want to give love to it. This was a blowout because it's Jungle, not because My Michelle isn't great.
No, no. I mean, that's again, with me kind of misunderstanding the assignment. I like this better. If this was pitted against any other song on side G, it would be a harder decision for me, probably, because I mean, I love My Michelle, and I mean, I also love I really, really love one of my favorite GNR moments probably is when Axel just, you think he can't get higher, but when he gets so stinking high, when he gets into the, everyone needs love, you know that it's true. Someday you'll find someone that, I mean, I've always loved that part where he rips into that. So, I
Yep.
mean, yep.
Agreed. All right, Kate, I'm going to go to you now. It's so easy on the G side versus Think About You on the R.
Yeah. I mean, I've never Think About You is not one of my favorite tracks on Appetite. So that one's super easy for me. It's so easy is
It's so
um
easy to say.
it
It's so easy.
it is so easy. It is so easy. Think About You has never been it's always been one of my least favorites on Appetite. I'm not saying I don't like the song. I'm saying it stacks at the bottom for me. And with I mean I think Welcome to the Jungle, It's So Easy, and Night Train is the classic three. I think about that opener, and you could almost say the classic four without To Get Me. But yeah, it's so easy. Love it. I'm going to say this about probably every song, but one of my favorites on the album. Um, yeah, it's so easy for me to say that. I like
I
that,
mean,
Carson.
look, I'm going to agree. It's so easy is my choice, but I will put it out there that Think About You is actually in my top half of the album.
Okay. Okay.
So this song, I didn't grow up being a big fan of it. It was when I saw GNR in 2002 on the ill-fated tour after the MTV Music Awards, where they only did the few dates, but one of the dates they did was Hartford. So we lucked out and saw it. And Think About You was in that set list. And I remember leaving that show going, man, in the 15 years at that time since this album came out, I don't feel like I've sat with this song a lot. And so I did a lot more over the ensuing now 24 years. And actually, Think About You easily beats out two other songs on the G side for me. But obviously, it's so easy. That bass intro, the drums that sound like a freight train coming your way, and yet isn't Night Train. So, like, that's just insanity. Obviously, legendary lines. Every 5 seconds in this song is a quotable lyric, and just it works down to the ending of just the it's so easy. I love Axel in that low voice.
Oh
I
yeah.
love that Axel is just cranking out with I see you standing there, or like, you see your sister, so like it's just so down, and it's like, yes, like this is a whole different voice than what we just heard on Jungle. This is so different, and boy, does he slide right into it easy. So no, this thing again, like I'd be scared to put Jungle versus It's So Easy, and I'm not doing it right now.
That was actually my thought that that would be a really hard matchup is Jungle versus It's So Easy because It's So Easy. I will stand by, and we've talked in other episodes about the quotability of songs and the Instagram captions. But It's So Easy, I think, holds the true honor in my ranking of a song that I quote two separate lines from on possibly a daily basis, which is "You ain't got nothing better to do, and I'm bored." And then also, I see you standing there. You think you're so cool. Why don't you just I will you and I don't care if nobody else
Yep.
knows except the two of you, but like they're so applicable to my everyday life
Yeah.
that for that reason alone, but It's So Easy. Like you were talking about the danger of my Michelle. It's So Easy is also, I remember I got this album on vinyl when I was a kid and I had my little record player in my room. And it's one thing to play Jungle. And then I'm playing It's So Easy. And I'm like, oh, I got to turn down the volume because what if my mom hears this? And so that's again, it's got the danger, the true danger of Guns N' Roses in it. And Think About You, that's another one you write that I've sat with as I've gotten older. And it I don't know exactly where it ranks. It would be in an upper 75% of Appetite for me, but I mean up against It's So Easy. And nothing's, with the exception maybe of Welcome to the Jungle, nothing's gonna take out It's So Easy.
Yeah.
Absolutely agree. All right, so next up, track three on each side, we've got G Night Train, and on our Sweet Child O' Mine. Now, this is obviously one of the biggest hits of the album against a live favorite, perhaps. Caton, you kind of already alluded to it, so I'm just going to get right into it. To me, Night Train blows Sweet Child out of the water. Again, Night Train, the danger. Take your credit card to the liquor store. That's one for you and two for me. Like it's just there's so much good here, and like again, the quotable lyrics. Just ready to crash and burn. I'll never learn. Again, the danger is still there. So we're increasing this as you're going on. I can't imagine what it would have been like because again, I'm 7 years old, 6 years old when this album comes out. I fall in love with it at 7, but like I'm not delving deep. I'm listening to the singles. She had the vinyl, I didn't. Um, I can't imagine what it would have been like to have been like 15 or 16 years old and to rip through this album one by
Oh my
one.
gosh. Yeah.
Like, because they go, look, at 7 years old, I don't know what we're even talking about with Night Train. I just know I like what I'm hearing and it does something for me. But to be that kind of disenfranchised teenager who's already a rock guy, and all of a sudden, when you drop the needle on this and you go to Jungle, which maybe you heard, and then you go into It's So Easy and you're like, yeah, and then you go to Night Train, like, oh my God, yes, like, wow. Sweet Child, while obviously a classic, won't invoke that emotion, won't tap into that as this does, that these three songs stacked up do for you. Like I said, I can't imagine. In essence, I would love to have known what it'd be like to be my brother's age, who, is 9, 10 years older than me. That it's like to have been him to drop on the needle on it for the first time and just feel what this is throwing at you would have been incredible.
Okay, this one, I obviously, Night Train is going to blow Sweet Child out, despite the legendary riff of Sweet Child of Mine that is beyond recognizable, that it doesn't matter the genre, it doesn't matter the age. You're hard pressed to find someone who maybe doesn't know it's Guns N' Roses, but they've heard that song before in some sort of way. So it's not to take away the power that Sweet Child of Mine made Guns N' Roses a palatable band on a bigger scale. But in terms of my listenability, it's Night Train. And the thing about Night Train is that, yeah, there's the danger, there's that inherent Guns N' Roses, but it's also cool. It shows the cool factor. It shows the smooth. Like I smoke my cigarette with style. After you've just talked about, Nine Lives and, a Molotov cocktail. That again, it's dangerous, but it's also the not the rebelliousness, but the literally do not give any F's. That it's like this is guys that are out for their own. It's hedonism, it's destruction, but it's done in the coolest way. And I think it's so on display in this song, which is why, yes, Sweet Child isn't going to beat it.
I may surprise you guys on this one. No, I won't. No, I won't. Yeah, feeling like a space brain one more time tonight. Are you kidding me? I mean, Night Train. Listen, it's my favorite Guns track to hear live. The aggression, the just that you could say that about so many songs on Appetite. The aggression, the anger. But I mean, um, it's just nothing can stack up against Night Train. I think it's impossible. And the lyrics are so good too. I think one of you already said this, one for you and two for me. I mean, Night Train all the way. I mean, would you guys agree this is probably a top two of all like live moments for them when they play Night Train? I mean, I just feel like it is just so amazing live when they play that. And I feel like the crowd just goes nuts when they hear Night Train, the intro to Night Train. I
And the
love,
whistle.
huh?
And the whistle.
Oh
That you
my
get the
gosh.
whistle. Like that
Yeah.
that's like that is
Yeah.
a top moment in the show. It sounds silly, but like it sparks. It literally is the Molotov cocktail. That's what it's sparking. It's doing it.
I mean, yeah, because you think about it, they play a chord. They go bum, whoo,
Yeah.
whoo,
I,
ba-na-na-na-na-na,
I
and it's
think
like,
it's the
oh, okay.
whistle. Yeah, you're right. I think the whistle just sets the crowd off, and I tell you, I've always loved Duff's the bass line on this track. I've always loved Duff. I mean, I, Duff's bass playing, I don't think gets enough. I don't think people talk about it enough for Appetite. I mean, a lot of people talk about Adler and the magic of his the drumming on the album, but I don't know. I love McKagan's bass lines and bass parts on this album too, especially this song.
I'll chime in. Duff's tone is insane. It sounds like he is plucking gigantic shards of metal. Like is the way that I put it. Like it's not your typical it's like it's so
Yeah.
just it's but it's not crunchy like overdriven. It's something about the strings he uses, the pickups and everything, but I'll always maintain it's the guy playing. It's he's playing with a pick, but it's like Rachel Bolan plays with a pick, and Rachel Bolan has a great bass tone, but it's not the same. It's just whatever it is in his fingers and in the strings and all. He has a bass tone that, as a guy who plays some bass, I would kill for just to have play around with that sound. It's incredible. So no, I'm there with you on that.
Yeah, and I think you nailed it better than I did. I think it's more. I think what I'm saying that grabs me so much is more the tone and less. I was saying that the actual bass line, which are cool, but I think it's the tone. I think you're right. I think that's perfectly said. Yeah.
All right, next up, we are on to track four of each side. On the G side, it is Out to Get Me. And on the R side, it is You're Crazy. Now, Caton, you kind of already stepped into this song a little bit, so I'm going to throw it to you.
I gotta go. My computer just went out. What is it? Out to get me versus what? Say
You're
it again.
Crazy.
Yeah, I do love your crazy. Out to get me. Out to get me. I mean, I, I love this song. I'm thinking fresh here. I mean, your crazy's good. It's good, but I mean, for me, side G is just trumping it so far.
I this was my biggest struggle. I'll be real with you because you're crazy from a chorus perspective is again, you want to talk quotable. That I could just look at somebody and I'm thinking in my head, I'm
I
not just
want a
saying you're crazy. I'm like,
satisfaction.
yeah, crazy. Like, you're just singing that. But like out to get me from a story perspective and the like you really feel like you're you're in this like escape run whatever it is that we're running from whatever it is we're hiding from or and I don't even know if it's that. I'll be real, I'm not deep. I don't know if it's metaphorical. I have no idea if it's supposed to be real or in his head, but like
But we're
it
innocent.
right, we're
But we're
innocent, like you
innocent.
know and then but now we go back to the danger, so you can suck me. Well, what, I am far too young to be hearing this. I'm like, wait, what? So like, and so this is where this was the battle for me. It was like, I, the thing is, I go, You're Crazy is the one that I'm like, that could be the one that actually hits from side R. And even like right now talking, I'm still not sure which one it is. And my immediate gut reaction is Out to Get Me.
This comes into if I honestly look at both of these albums or both these sides, this is kind of a lull on both sides in my for where I look at this album. Um, I think You're Crazy is simplistic for what the band was doing, like for
Mhm.
everything else they've got there. Um, and I think Out to Get Me was another one that I never was that big of a fan of. I'm going to give all the credit to Hailstorm for covering it and doing such a bang up job with it that it got me listening to the Guns N' Roses version a bit more again instead of skipping over it. It also, like on that original Appetite tour, was always kind of the spot of the Axl rant before. So when you listen to bootlegs, it was always the Axl rant, whether it was about Paul Stanley or about anybody else, that would lead into Out to Get Me. And so, like, this was the spot. And it's almost like when you had Axl hyping it up, the song just got that much cooler. But this one, I same thing. This was a toss up a little bit more as being neither one of these being the most stellar track. but ultimately I'm going to lean out to Get Me as well. So thank you, Lizzie Hale and et al.
Man, I got to tell you, I mean, that shocks me to hear you say that you were never a massive fan of this song, like growing up or what. Like, I mean, woo, man. I mean, I just think about, again, every one of these songs. I can talk about the aggression, but I mean, been hiding out, been laying low. It's nothing new to me. Oh man, I was always a massive, massive fan of this song. Love it.
Well, I got something that's been building up inside, and that is the going into the next song.
Mhm.
All right, so next up, like again, these are two good ones, but to me, there's an easy win, and that is on the G side, Mr. Brownstone, and on the R side, anything goes. So I guess Carson, I used to do a little, but a little wouldn't do it. What about you?
Same. I was actually to throw it to you because you said this was a little bit more of a difficult choice for you. And I don't think it was a difficult choice for me. So I kind of want to hear both sides for you.
This one wasn't difficult for me. The next one is.
Oh, the next one?
Yeah,
Oh,
Okay, I thought you said the same thing.
I
I thought
probably
you
yeah.
said
did.
this one, and I was thinking, whoa, this is one of the
Right.
easiest comparisons
I
for
mean,
me.
Yeah,
look, I'll say this. Anything Goes dates back to the Hollywood Rose days.
right.
I do like it. And again, it's a song that has grown on me over the years, far more than how much I liked it in the beginning. It is something that has built up more. But no, Brownstone, for a song that wasn't anywhere near a single. And that tells you so much about this album. Nightrain, not, well, it was a single in one country, but not here in America. It really wasn't. Brownstone, not a single. If they didn't play these songs in a live show, we'd
Oh,
revolt.
Yeah. Yeah,
100%.
You
yeah.
you could drop Sweet Child of Mine. We're not okay with you dropping Mr. Brownstone.
Nope.
And again, this was the danger. This was the us as kids going, what is Mr. Brownstone? What exactly is it? Like it's a thing. I don't know. So no, this one was easy, but I love Anything Goes. It is, like I said, it's gotten better over the almost 40 years since this album came out to me.
That's gotten better for me too. That's one you said that about another track earlier. Anything Goes is that's the one on the album for me that not took a little time, but I like it more now than when I was a 12-year-old kid.
Now I
Yeah.
concur with you there because Mr. Brownstone, the groove on it, and again, when I talked earlier about like the smoothness, but it's the cool factor and the evolution, or I should say at this point, the de-evolution of what he's devolving into because of what they're doing and what they're doing more and more of because a little wouldn't do it, so the little got more and more. And no, as a kid, I don't understand the metaphor. I didn't know Mr. Brownstone wasn't a real person. I thought this was a guy who just showed up at their bus. I didn't know. I don't. Why would I know that at like 10? But then when you realize that it's again, it hits you. You're like, oh, now I get what they're talking about here. But it does show the slide, the spiral, just the downward momentum of addiction and getting into that, but also again in that cool way. That's the thing is that Guns N' Roses is so inherently cool. And with all due respect to Anything Goes, like you said, that's something that as I've gotten older, I think because of really, especially when we went through the drought of like basically how many decades of like, well, I've just got to listen to what I have from Guns N' Roses and Anything Goes, you do have an appreciation for. And going back to, oh, this is really the club shit. So it's not to say that it's not good, but that one, like, was there ever a question it wasn't going to be Brownstone? Of course it was Brownstone. Of course it is.
All
Yeah,
right.
easy.
So
Easy.
next up,
Brownstone, for sure. Yep.
100 easy. All right, next up, Paradise City versus Rocket Queen. So I'm going to throw you the curveball here, and I'm going to go with Rocket Queen.
That's not a curveball to me. I mean, Rocket Queen is my choice. Rocket Queen's my choice. Yeah. I mean, I misspoke earlier. Um, I misspoke earlier, I think, when I said, I mean, I'm thinking about this live, but um, when I said Night Train was my favorite live moment, I definitely misspoke. My favorite live moment in GNR song is the breakdown of Rocket Queen. So
Fair
the
enough.
dun 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 dun, that's and I also think the breakdown of Rocket Queen of any GNR album, not just Appetite. I think Axl's voice sounds so beautiful right there. I know that's a funny word that, I think his just when he kicks into, I see you standing. I mean, I just think his voice sounds so awesome right there. And I think there's something beautiful about that breakdown in Rocket Queen. Um, you know, the flip side is I feel like I've heard one of you say that Paradise City did suffer from the overplay syndrome for you. Yeah, not that's another one for me. Never for me ever. Paradise City is one of my all-time favorite GNR songs. I mean, again, the intro there and the bass drum coming in, the dum, I mean, magic to me. And the video for Paradise City, of maybe any video of when I was a kid, it is seared into my memory, that live concert moment and that white leather vest. I mean, oh my word, that video is just, and so my point is, it is comparing, maybe, you know, definitely these are all top five. Those two songs would be in my top five. So to edge out Paradise City is quite difficult for me, but Rocket Queen,
Uh,
I'm with you, Hyde.
yeah, so for me, like I said, this one is the Demon of Overplay. And honestly, like it's one that broken down isn't that great of a song for me. Like there's an
Even the
excitement to
chorus,
it.
even the chorus.
There's an excitement to it. It's got so much for it. And the chorus is insanely catchy. I will speak to the composition, like you were speaking of the intro and everything like that. Guns N' Roses arrangements are insane. It's one of the things when people talk about how raw Appetite for Destruction is, I argue. Appetite for Destruction is thought out, it is executed beautifully, and it is planned. It's a band that worked very hard to sound raw, but there is layers, there is thought, there is intros, outros. It is not just riff, chorus, riff, verse, chorus. It's not that. There is so much nuance here, and that nuance is best on display in Rocket Queen. You've got the first part, and I love whatever phase effect they put on Axel's voice in the chorus of Rocket Queen. That makes Axel sound like to me, sound like a razor blade is the best way I can put it. His voice is sharp. It sounds like it will slice you in that chorus. And then, of course, you've got the lore and the myth behind what goes on during the solo, which again, who else is doing that? This is Guns N' Roses Dangerous. This is, oh my God, they are crazy, aren't they? Because who the hell else is doing this? Into this beautifully romantic thing. And this ending, which is like, it feels like a completely separate song, and yet it completes the thought. And that to me, for a bunch of 20-year-olds to put that together, this is your precursor to November Rain. This is your precursor to Estranged. This is a song in movements. And again, for all the bands we love of this era, when they want to know why a Guns N' Roses edged out a Dokken or whoever, they're writing songs with movements that your fans don't even realize you're getting that because they're just in for the ride. If you could sneak that in on people, you've done your job. Carson, what do you think?
Well, I am the outlier because Paradise City all day over Rocket Queen. Now, I will tell you that listening to both of you, you're right. That breakdown is beautiful. The melody, it's almost, it's like floating
Hmm.
above the instrumental. It's gorgeous. I do actually love just the rapid dialogue of the chorus for Rocket Queen. Otherwise, the song, it doesn't do a ton for me. And that could be because of the lore behind it, that I'm like, oh, yeah, there's some chick moaning. Great. Okay, fine. But Paradise City, because like you said, the drums to open it up, it's like the longest intro in the world, like between the drums and then the guitar and then more guitar. And then we splash in with everything.
Yep.
And it's this opus. It is like you were talking about movements. This is it. This is a Paradise City is like a whole symphonic journey. And honestly, because it closes out the concert, there's part of me looking at this album and I go, God, why wouldn't you have it close out the record? Like flip Rocket Queen and Paradise City, like have Paradise City end on it. Because it's interesting when you were talking
Yeah.
about the way Rocket Queen ends, that I hadn't really thought about it because like I think we were all probably similar that like if you finish listening to a record, that doesn't mean the listening was done. You either put on another one or you went back and flipped over to side G or side A, depending on what album it was. But like Rocket Queen does for me kind of close out this amazing album, genre defining, band defining, era defining. To me, Rocket Queen just isn't the bow that I would put to tie it all up. So Paradise City, also because of, like you said, Caton, I never get tired of Paradise City, ever. I want to hear it. I want to crank it up. It's that song that gives
Same.
me, yeah, it's the energy. It's again, we talked about in other episodes. It's that song that makes me feel powerful. The frenzy of the end of it. That even like even if you've never seen GNR live, that frenzy, you can feel the confetti coming down on you, like you get at the end of their shows. And I feel like that frenzy actually would have been really well served to close out this record entirely, not just side G.
Yeah, I've never thought about that, but I gotta say I think you're right. Because that Rocket Queen at the start of the episode, I said side G is the perfect side, absent one missing, and for me, it was Rocket Queen, where I was like, man, I just love that song. So I just let that edge out Paradise City. But man, I think you're right on closing, the entire album to end with Paradise City could have been quite powerful. I mean, I'll say this. I think if I was going to play something for someone who was not into this music and they asked me to, play them a snippet, or you only had one snippet you could choose to play them to turn them on to GNR, I think I would probably play the chorus of Paradise City. Maybe it goes back to what you said, Hyde, about it's so catchy. I'll tell you this, I I greatly enjoy and like the chorus of Paradise City more than I do the verses. I love the whole song, but there to me it's always been a song. Again, I adore this song, but the verses and the chorus kind of don't line up perfectly. Like it's almost like a tale of two. Like that verse could be tied to something that was a completely different chorus than Paradise City, I think, anyway. But I think the chorus is, if I was going to turn somebody on to GNR, I don't know that there's anything more representative, than the chorus to Paradise City. So, it didn't win, but we're spending all the time talking about Paradise City.
I think
Well,
that's how it goes,
also,
though.
It
I think
won
that
for
makes
you. It
sense.
won for you, Carson.
Yep.
it did. And with Paradise City, you have me thinking about the chorus, like encapsulating the chorus. I sometimes think about we were exposed to so many different kinds of music young because I think our generation, I know with Hyde and I, our parents, they were playing so many different things for us, whether it was the Rolling Stones, Barry Manilow, Elton John, but we're also listening to top 40 radio, right? And when you think about the songs that you listened to when you were a real little kid that caught you, it was because the lyrics were understandable and you understood them. Not just like you could figure out the words, but the
Mhm.
words, you knew what they meant. And so, like, if you were playing it, let's say for a 6-year-old, just the chorus. Take me down to the paradise city where the grass is green and the girls are pretty. Kids
Yeah.
are going to know that. Like, I remember being little, and I loved the song Crocodile Rock from Elton John, but it's because he's talking about like a gold Chevy, blue jeans. I know what those words mean. I can
Yeah.
attach
Yeah.
to them. And Paradise City, that simplistic lyricism of the chorus, that's something like you might have a 4-year-old. You don't really want to play Appetite in its full, even though they're not going to understand any of it. But Paradise City, you're not upset if they're singing that
That's
chorus.
right.
But
That's
but
right.
your 4-year-old will attach to it because those lyrics are not just understandable, they're accessible.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. And I mean, it is obviously super, super simple, but man, they're good lyrics too. Where the grass is green and the girls are. I mean, yeah, those are awesome, awesome lyrics. But and maybe that's why. Maybe it is the simplicity of. I mean, how old were you when this album came out, Hyde?
I was 6 when it came out, 7 when I started listening to it.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, it's you're probably right, Carson. To a 10-year-old, I mean, maybe that's why, the simplicity of it, versus like you said, we didn't know who Mr. Brownstone was, you know, but I knew what green grass was.
I think that makes sense. No, I think that's a really solid point. And of course, as you guys were talking, I was really thinking about the live versions of this, whether it be on Live Era or the Live in Tokyo, or just the many times we've seen them over the years. And it's like those little moments of must be losing my mind? Are you blind? And like, the whole sweeping hand
Oh
thing. And I
yeah.
go, like, yep. And then take it to the end of the line, beat it, things like that you get excited for that are make the song bigger, the whistle on it, and he throws the whistle out to the crowd. So like in a live setting, I probably actually enjoy this song more. Whereas Caton, you said like this was for you a
Yeah.
live highlight. Live, I'm probably a little more excited for this, like Carson said, the confetti and all that. And it goes on as long as they want. And then Axel's big goodbye comes in there, and it's again, Paradise City is great. I still chose my Michelle as
Yeah.
a song and as a composition. But going into now, so really, pretty much it was a runaway that the G side did win. No shock to anybody, I don't think. I mean, you're stacking up those songs. It's just amazing. It's another fun one with Open Up and Say Pod. It's what we do. Till next time.